A very warm good morning to all of you. I hope all of you are keeping well. Today we are going to begin with another topic under the same chapter, that is forms of business organization. In the last few chapters we were discussing about sole proprietorship, partnership, joint in the family business, cooperative societies, and today we are going to start with another form of a business organization which is known as joint stock company. What is a company? We all have heard about the word company many times in our lives. What is the meaning of this word company? What does this mean? A company, listen to me very carefully, a company is an association of persons formed for carrying out business activities and has a legal status independent of its members. That means it is an association of persons. That means different people, a few people, they will come together to start a company. Now, why do they come together? That is to carry out some business activities. Now, when they are carrying out the business activities, their the business that they establish is separate from themselves. That is why it is we say that it has a legal status independent of its members. That means the company has a separate identity of itself. Just like cooperative society, company is also considered as a legal entity, or it is also considered as a person or a member who is not dependent on the actual members of the organization. It is considered as a separate person only altogether. When we were discussing about sole proprietorship, there we said that when we are talking about a business, we are talking about the owner of the business or the sole proprietor. But when we are talking about a cooperative society or a joint stock company, there we are talking when we are talking about a business, we do not we are not talking about the members or the owners of the business. Business is separate and the owners of the business is separate. That and Here companies are also called as an artificial person. Why artificial? Because companies cannot live, they do not live, they cannot eat, they do not grow like us, so it is known as an artificial person. Why person? Because just like a human being, companies can also borrow money, companies can also lend money, companies can also sue others, companies can also be sued by others. Okay, so all these things can be done by a company. So just like a normal human being, company can also function in the society. So that is one very interesting aspect or very interesting feature about a company. So let us once again start with the definition of it. A company is an association of persons formed for carrying out business activities and has a legal status independent of its members. Now, who gives this identity to the company? The law gives this identity to the company. So that is why we say that it has a legal status independent of its members. That means it has a legal identity independent of its members. It is not dependent on its members for its own identity. Rather, it is independent of its identity. Now, just like partnership and just like cooperative societies, even joint stock company is started under a act, and that act is known as the Companies Act 2013. Companies Act 2013 is the act that governs the functioning of companies. So if anyone has to start a company now, they have to abide by all the rules and regulations which are stated in the Companies Act 2013. Now, let us understand how does a company work. Suppose I want to start a business, but I do not have enough capital in my hand. So what will I do? I will go and ask my friends or the people who I know to invest in my company, and that is known as initial public offering. Now, when they are investing or if they are helping me out by giving in some money, so I have to give them some part or some share of my company. So they will be known as shareholders because they are investing some money into my business, and hence they are going to hold some part of my business. I hope this is clear to you. And the part, normally the share that we give is known as shares only. The part, the portion that we give to the owners are known as shares, and these shares have some amount, some value. So when these investors, when they come in to invest in my company, they become the shareholders. Although they might not be running the organization, they might not be running the company, but they are the owners of the company. Somewhere indirectly they can affect or they can control my company, but in actual sense I will only be running the company. So there are people who are known as shareholders who are actually the owners of the company. Why are they known as the owners of the company? Because they have invested some money into the company and become the or in order to buy some share of the company. That's why they are known as shareholders. They are also owners of the company, but they are not the people who are going to run the company. Company will be run by the board of directors. Now the board of directors are elected by the shareholders or the owners of the company. The owners of the company will elect a board of directors, and they will be the one who will be running the business. Now I hope this is clear to you. Shareholders do not have direct control over the business, they have indirect control, but board of directors have direct control over the business. Now this is and the act which governs this companies are the Companies Act 2013. Companies Act 2013 is the act that governs companies. I hope this is also clear to you. Now let us go quickly into the features of this. Now it has some very interesting features associated to it. The first feature is of artificial person. So like I said, company is not deemed or not considered as or it does not share the same identity that the members of the company share. It is considered as a separate entity. It has some separate identity of itself. So a company, because it is created by law, it has got some identity to itself. Like what? Just like a human being, a company can own property, it can lend money, it can borrow debts, then it can enter into contracts, it can sue some other person, and it can also be sued by other persons. So just like a person, just like a human being, a company can act in the society. The second one is separate legal entity. That means it is considered as a separate legal entity, a separate identity it has got. So from the day of its commencement or from the day a company comes into existence, it gets an identity of its own. Okay, and that is separate from that which is held by its members. The members of the organization or the members of the company, that means the board of directors or the shareholders, they will have a separate identity of themselves. That means what? If anything is done by let's say if anything is done by the shareholder, let's say if anything is done by, if any wrong deeds are done by the board, any one of the members of the board of directors, then the company cannot be sued. Nothing will happen to the company. The company will still keep on running. Why? Because this act, this wrong act has been done by one of the members of the board of director. Likewise, if the company say it has given some loan to someone, okay, the company has given some loan to someone, then uh, or, or let's say the company has taken loan from someone. Okay, this will be easier for you to understand. If the company has taken some loan from someone but it fails to pay it off at the right time, then what will happen? The company, it will be the company who will be held responsible, not the directors or not the board of directors. They will not be touched at all. Rather, it will be the company who will be held responsible. I hope this is clear to you. So it has a separate legal entity. It has a separate legal identity given by the law. Next is formation. Now, companies are not so easy to start. When we were talking about partnership or cooperative societies or uh, joint in the family business or sole proprietorship, we said that yeah, forming all these organizations are very easy. It is very easy to start them. It is very easy to close them down also. But companies are not like that. Companies take several documents, okay, preparation of several documents, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of money to start a company. So it is not so easy to start a company. And not just that, whoever starts a company, he or she has to abide by the acts, the rules that are there in the Companies Act 2013. So this is about the formation of companies. The next is about perpetual succession. Now, this word might be very new to you, but the easy meaning of this is continuity. In the last topics, in the last types of business organizations we were discussing about, when we were discussing about the features, there we said that some of them they have continuity, some of them they do not have continuity. uh, Perpetual succession means continuity. In very simple words, it means continuity. That means perpetual succession means even if anything happens to any of the members of the company will still keep on going. The company will come to an end only if there is a procedure for that. There is a procedure to end the company. Only if that procedure is followed, that is known as the procedure of winding up the company. Only if that procedure is followed to wind up the company will come to an end. Other than that, just because something is happening to any of its members, a company will never come to an end. It will still keep on going. Next is about the control. What is this control about? Who will control the business? The business will be controlled by the board of directors, who are elected by the shareholders. The shareholders do not have any direct control over the business. The entire business is controlled by the board of directors. All the decisions that are taken by the board of directors and not by the shareholders. So it is the board of directors who make decisions regarding the organizations and run it on day-to-day basis. Next is about liability. Now, if there is any kind of liability, then who will bear the liability? The liability, definitely members have liability, but they have limited liability. They do not have unlimited liabilities. The members of company, they have limited liability to the extent of the capital contributed by them in the company. So only till that extent they are liable. Beyond that, they are not liable to pay any they are not liable to pay any money to the company. Next is, a company has a common seal. Always you will see that there is a common seal. There will be one seal which will be common to that company only. Okay. So if a company has a common seal, then it must be attached, or it should be there in the documents, important documents. It should be there in the important documents which the company is submitting for starting the business. While starting the business, the company must have the seal on the documents which they are going to submit in order to start the business. If a company does not have a common seal, then the person signing the document should be authorized by a board's decision. The person who is got either the company should have a seal. If the company does not have a seal, then one person should sign it, and the person who is signing should be authorized, should be given permission from the board of directors in order to sign. Simply one person cannot come and sign and go, or they should have a common seal. Otherwise, it won't be recognized as a company. Every company has a common seal. So this is again an important thing. The next thing, and the final feature, is about risk bearing. The risk of losses in a company is borne by all the shareholders, not just by the board of directors, but by also by all the shareholders. That is why people get stressed when the share markets, the value of the shares are increasing or decreasing. At that time, when the values are increasing, they'd be very happy, but when the value is decreasing, then shareholders become very scared. They think that, oh god, I have invested so much of money in this organization. If something happens to the organization, even the amount of money which I have invested in the company, even that will also go into loss. I will not get anything out of it. So if there is any loss that the company has to bear, it will not just be the company who will be bearing it, but also all the shareholders of the company who have invested money into the company. All of them should bear the loss of it. It's not just limited to the company or the board of directors, but also to the entire shareholders who are holding shares of the company. Okay, but when we are talking about sole proprietorship or partnership, where there are only few people who are starting it, so we can just say that okay, at least only those people have to bear. But here, since the company is a huge entity, it has lots and lots of shareholders, and if anything happens to the company, the entire shareholders, all these shareholders will also get affected. And that is why many companies like Kingfisher, okay, and many other companies in the past, like Punjab National Bank, all these companies, when they faced, or even the Yes Bank recently, they when they all had a very bad financial statement, when they were all making losses because of something or the other. In some cases, the owners, they did not do their business fairly. Because of that, their shareholders had to suffer. But in some cases, this Yes Bank, what happened to Yes Bank is that it had given loan to many of the people who did not return back the loan, and because of that, it had given loan to some people like Nirav Modi, and even to CCD, the owners of CCD, and many other companies. But the thing what happened is that those people did not pay back the loan, and because of that, Yes Bank had to suffer. So whatever be the reasons behind it, if any of the companies make loss, that means even their shareholders will also have to bear the loss. But that does not happen when we are talking about sole proprietorship or partnership. But when it comes to a company, all the shareholders have to bear the risk of loss. So these are the different kinds of features of joint stock company. We start with artificial person. That means a company is considered as an artificial person. That means a company can enter into contract, it can sue other people, it can be sued by other people, it can borrow loans, it can lend loans. All these things can be can be done by a company just like any other human being. Then it has a separate legal identity. It has got an identity from the law, and that is why it is considered as a separate entity. It is not mixed with the members. It is not dependent on its members. Rather, it is independent of its members, and it is considered as a different entity altogether, a different organization altogether. Next is formation. The formation of company is very tedious. It takes a lot of time, lot of money, lot of paperwork are involved. It is not as easy as it seems. When we were talking about sole proprietorship, joint Hindu family business, partnership, cooperative societies, those things, those organizations are easy to start, but a company is very difficult to start, and that too, a company has to abide by all the rules and regulations which are written in Companies Act 2013. Then perpetual succession. Just if anything happens to any of its members or any of the members of its board of directors, then the company will not come to an end. It will still keep on going. There will be a continuity in the company. And who controls the company? Board of directors control the company. Although the owners or the shareholders, they have the voting rights and all, but they do not have so much of control over the business. The business is completely run by who? Run by the board of directors and not the shareholders. Although the shareholders have indirect control, but they do not have any direct control. Then the next one is liability. The members, they have limited liability, not unlimited liability. They have limited liability extending to the amount of capital that they have invested. Next is common seal. A company, if it has to, while it is uh, registering itself, at that time only, all the documents that it is submitting, it should have its common seal. If it is not having a common seal, then one person who has been given authority to sign on those paper should sign. And the last one is risk bearing. If a company makes a loss, all the shareholders will also bear the loss. And that is why people really do a lot of study, a lot of research before investing in any of the companies, because people do not want to make loss. But we do not know, the market is so unpredictable. Even today the most successful companies in our country is Reliance, but we do not know what is going to happen in the next 10 years, or in the next or after 10 or 20 years. We do not know, will it be as successful as it is today? We do not know. So that is why we have to keep on tracking the market. If I have invested some amount in Reliance, then I should not forget about it and just be, careless about it. Rather, I should keep on checking how much is the value today. If tomorrow, if I stop if the company is going to make any loss, should I, before making a loss, should I take out my money from there and invest in, or put in some other company? What should I do? All these kinds of decisions one has to take. A shareholder has to make a deep market research before investing some money. Otherwise, it'll when the company makes the loss, even the shareholder would also have to make loss. So these are the different kinds of features that a joint stock company has. We will be discussing about the merits and limitations of the same in the next class. For this class, we are only discussing about the definition and the features of it. The notes of this topic will be given to you later, and you may take down the notes then. If you have got any doubts regarding this, when we have our class next time, you may please ask me these questions. Till then, goodbye.